Hello friends, so today I'm going to do a sit down chatty video. It has been a long time since I did one of these, so it feels good to be chilling out and having a little chat with you and a catch up with my coffee. So since lockdown is beginning to lift and life is starting to resume some sense of normality, I thought I could take this opportunity to reflect on lockdown, my experiences, my highs and lows and everything in between. Just a disclaimer before I jump into this conversation with you, I just want to let you know that this is coming from a very privileged position. I'm somebody who was not under huge financial strain. I wasn't furloughed by a company. I didn't have any children to look after or to homeschool, and I feel like I got through lockdown quite smoothly. And I just want to put that out there now and just say that this is my opinions and my experiences from a privileged perspective, and I acknowledge my privilege. Okay, let's hop into talking about my experiences and my lessons learnt from lockdown. So in terms of work, my personal brand, Zanna van Dijk, I would say overall it took a bit of a hit. Brand work pretty much stopped, and that is the vast majority of my income. And then also travel work stopped, which is the second biggest part of my income. So that was definitely a shock to the system. But it's okay because there's also many benefits that came to my business over the course of this period. I completely adapted my content. I really focused on fitness content, which I thought would help people during this time, and that was awesome. I really felt like I was contributing something positive during a challenging time for many people, including myself. And I also grew a larger audience over the course of lockdown because I feel like my fitness content was hopefully helping people, and therefore people came and joined me and followed along for the journey and used my workouts. So that's what happened with my personal brand. And then with the Stay Wild Swim brand, actually, we thought it was going to be really challenging and we were kind of terrified, but there was such a huge lobbying of people coming together to try and support small businesses that Stay Wild Swim has thrived. We have had the most sales we've ever had, and Stay Wild Swim is basically taking off and smashing life. So I'm really buzzing about Stay Wild Swim. Stay Wild is thriving, it's doing so well, it's growing faster than we ever anticipated. And we've brought out all these new colours and everybody's loving them, and all these new styles that we're working on that are coming out very soon. And I just feel like Stay Wild Swim is smashing it. And I'm so proud that through a time that has been hugely challenging to so many businesses, Stay Wild Swim has pulled through and actually come out the other side stronger than ever. So yeah, it's been a period of highs and lows. Stay Wild Swim has been a huge high. It's doing awesome, and I'm just overwhelmed by how awesome it's doing. And then my own personal brand, I feel like I definitely took a financial hit, but I've also enjoyed using my brand as something to provide purposeful content to help people through this time through providing free workouts. So yeah, overall, work has changed quite a bit, but I do feel like things are starting to come back to normal now, especially with my personal brand. Like, brand work is coming back in and I'm feeling a little bit more financially stable, so that is awesome. The next thing I want to talk about was relationships and my social life. So my relationship with Ant has got stronger than ever. I feel like lockdown could probably make or break a relationship, and I feel like it definitely made us. It is the most time we've ever spent together in the whole almost 5 years that we have known each other, and we got on so well. I just realized that as well as being my boyfriend and my life partner, he is my best friend, and we just have so much fun, and I'm just so glad that I got to go through lockdown with him. So Ant and I have come out the other side stronger than ever, and I'm really grateful for that. And in terms of my social life, when we were in complete lockdown, I actually was talking to my friends more than ever. I was doing like daily FaceTimes, trying to do one FaceTime a day with a different friend each day, and that was really nice. Calling my mum more than ever, like just really staying connected digitally with people in my life, even if I couldn't see them in person. So yeah, I'd definitely say that I was more conscious of staying connected to the people that I care about, and I'm so grateful that I did that. And now that life is coming back to normal and we can see our friends in person, I am being like a yes woman. I'm basically saying yes to everything and everyone and trying to see everyone, because I definitely realised like how much I value face-to-face time with people and with friends and with family and with people who are close to me and who are important to me. The third thing I want to talk about was my mental health and how I coped in that sense in regards to lockdown. I feel like I'm very lucky in that I have a naturally positive mindset and I didn't actually have too many wobbles throughout the lockdown period. I have to say that for the first week of full lockdown, I did cry every single day and I didn't really understand what I was crying for. I'd cry about like literally nothing, but I would cry every single day. I think that was just me kind of letting out whatever was going on internally in me and kind of letting that out into the world and expressing that uncertainty and anxiety and nervousness that was inside me experiencing lockdown, something that I had never experienced before, and also just having my whole life put on hold. I think that maybe I suppressed those emotions and that was coming out in the form of tears for the first week of lockdown. But then after I got into routine and I made myself feel like I was being productive and positive and getting things done, I was absolutely fine. So the first week I'd say was a pretty big wobble, and then after that week, genuinely had a great time, felt good. In terms of my overall lifestyle, it changed completely. I went from being somebody who lived at 150 miles an hour, somebody who travelled for 10 days to 2 weeks out of every single month. I was hardly at home, I was always on the go, I was working crazy long days. I was up at 5 AM every day on my laptop till like 9-10 PM, burning myself out and working myself into the ground. And then I went from that to literally being so chilled because I had more time on my hands, I had less work to do, and I was literally just like, what do I even do with myself? I slowed down massively. I slept like 8 hours a night, which I haven't done in years. I just thoroughly enjoyed slowing down. I have to say that maybe for the first couple of weeks it was a bit uncomfortable. I'll talk a bit more about that later in terms of like feeling like I had a purpose, but I really did enjoy having time for things which I haven't had time to do in years. For example, doing all of my scrapbooks. They've been on my to-do list for 6 years and I've never been able to justify giving myself the time to do them, and I'm so grateful that I did. So yeah, I actually enjoyed slowing down and having time to do more creative expressions of my energy, like the scrapbooks. In terms of our home and our house plans, I would say that lockdown was absolutely a game changer in terms of Ant and I's perspective on our house and our house move and what our life goals are. Because prior to lockdown, our plan was actually to move further into London. So we currently live in zone 3 and we were going to move in to zone 2 but then upsize a little bit, and that was our plan. And then lockdown kind of made us realise the pros and cons of our current flat and what our real aspirations are and how valuable green space is to us and outdoor space. And that actually sparked our decision to not move further into London and actually to move further out of London and into the countryside and into Surrey. So thank you lockdown for making me realise where I actually wanted to live. In terms of fitness and health, I feel like I thrived in lockdown. I feel like I am the fittest and healthiest I have ever been in my whole almost 28 years of life. It's mad. I have to say that maybe the first week was just a wobble in general, and that included in my fitness journey because I felt like I was just like, what do I do? How do I train at home? I've never really been somebody who trains at home. I felt like, how do I train? How do I split my workouts? How do I structure my day around my workouts? I just felt a little bit overwhelmed, but I soon got into routine and I actually completely transformed the way that I train. I went from being somebody who lifted weights maybe 5 days a week to now doing probably 2 weightlifting sessions a week. And then the rest of the time I'm doing runs, to be honest. Most of the time I'm just running, and then maybe 1 hit a week. But the main big change in my fitness journey and my fitness routine over the course of lockdown has been running. Before lockdown, I hated running. I hated running with a vengeance. I was a passionate anti-runner. Hated it. Would always tell people about how bad I was at running. Literally despised it. And then when we were told by the government we could only go outside once a day for exercise, I could only walk so far within the half an hour, 1 hour limit, but I thought I could run a lot further. So I decided to start running so that I could get a bit further away from my house and explore more and get out a bit more on my daily exercise. And that was when I officially started to become a runner. And now I'm somebody who genuinely loves running. Like today, I ran a 15-kilometer run this morning just for fun. I ran a half marathon for fun in lockdown, guys. Who am I? Lockdown has changed me. I'm a runner now. Okay, so that is basically a summary of my experiences in lockdown. I would say that overall, I am somebody who does have a naturally positive mindset, so I found silver linings and I found positives in every single day of lockdown. And I do our gratitude and positivity exercise that we do every night before we go to sleep. So I feel like that helped me find the positives in every single day. And I feel like I found the silver linings. I found the things which made me feel good. I found the positives. I found things like training more consistently, cooking more home cooked meals, sleeping more. I basically focused on self-care. I've like meditated every single day. This is my longest meditation streak, I think, ever. So I basically just used lockdown as an opportunity to slow down, give my body a bit of a break, give myself a bit of a recharge, replenish my energy stores, so that hopefully when all of this lifts and life returns a little bit more to normal, I'm packed full of energy to jump back into everything that I was doing before, but hopefully feeling a little bit more, yeah, energized, I guess. So yeah, I genuinely had a pretty good time in lockdown and I feel very, 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 very grateful for that. So now let's jump into talking about the lessons that I've learned and the things I'm going to take forward from lockdown. Lesson number 1. I'm going to do more Zoom calls. I'm going to do more digital meetings. I'm going to see people in person less, because I feel like a lot of my time prior to lockdown was spent running around London trying to see people in person, have meetings in person, and in reality, that's a lot of time wasted getting between places for meetings. So I'm just going to do a few in-person meetings, of course, because I do like to have human contact, but definitely more Zoom meetings and phone calls and FaceTimes, because it just saves so much time. The next lesson I learned is a little bit deeper, and basically throughout lockdown I questioned my purpose a lot, because I think before lockdown I kind of defined myself by my work, my business and my productivity. And I felt like elements of that were taken away from me because my personal brand slowed down a lot and I couldn't work the long hours that I was used to working, and I kind of defined myself by working super hard and being super productive, and I just couldn't be that person anymore. And it just felt like I was questioning, who even am I and what is my purpose? Sorry to get so deep, but genuinely I thought about it a lot, and it made me realise that there's so many things outside of work which I value, and so many things which I think define me, which aren't just my productivity, and that my productivity does not dictate my worth. I definitely realised that things like relationships, connections with friends and family, and especially the outdoors and nature, I just realised how integral they are to me and my purpose and what I love and what I'm passionate about. And I actually feel like I want to do more content about like being outdoors, being out hiking, being out in green space. So I've actually started to focus a bit more on that on my Instagram account, if you might have seen. So yeah, I've definitely realised that there's other elements of myself which are of value and which add purpose to me, which aren't just my work. So that's definitely something that I've learned. I hope that makes sense. The third lesson I've learned is that lifestyle goals are the same importance as business goals. So when I set my goals for 2020, I have 2 separate tabs on my spreadsheet. One is business goals and one is lifestyle goals. And I looked at this spreadsheet 4 weeks into lockdown, and I was smashing the Stay Wild Swim business goals, but I wasn't smashing the Zanna Dijk business goals. And that kind of gave me a bit of fear. But then I was absolutely killing the lifestyle goals. There have been goals that I've had for my lifestyle over the past few years that I have never achieved. Things like having weekends off. I have never since I moved to London consistently had weekends off and time to relax on the weekends. I always worked at least one day of the weekend. So I've had full weekends off now for like 3 months and I've loved it. So that's been an amazing lifestyle goal that I've achieved. Sleeping 8 hours a night, I never used to do that. Now I'm sleeping 8 hours most nights. Reducing my stress, talking to my parents more, connecting with Aunt more. All of these lifestyle goals that, to be honest, just got put on the back burner to prioritise business. I feel like I'm so glad that I have had the opportunity to achieve those goals over the course of lockdown. And I definitely think that achieving those goals is just as valuable and just as important as achieving my business goals. So that's definitely been a lesson that I have learned. The next lesson I've learned is that home workouts are awesome and you don't need a gym to be fit, because I genuinely think I'm the fittest and healthiest I have ever been in my almost 28 years of living, and I have not been to a gym in 4 months. So you can definitely get super fit and healthy at home. Another thing that I've learned about is gratitude. I have had so much gratitude for the small things, the little things. The things which I miss, I've definitely had gratitude for. Things like going for brunch with my friends, hugging people. I miss hugging people so much, and I didn't realise how important physical touch and hugging was to me until this all happened. And I've also developed a lot of gratitude just for my local area, like my local park that's at the end of my road, just brings me so much joy. And also something else that I have so much gratitude for over the course of this period is watching spring come and go. I am always travelling so much that I never actually see a full season come and go, and to watch spring happen was just amazing. Like to watch the flowers bloom in different stages, to watch the swans have their cygnets, the moorhens and the coots have their babies, the ducklings and the geese, and just all of the flowers and the baby animals, and it was just amazing. So yeah, I loved watching spring come and go this year, and I'm so grateful that I got to see that. 2 more things that I've learned or want to take forward into the future. First one is connection to my local community, my neighbours, my local businesses. I felt like there was a real push in lockdown to support local businesses and to connect with your neighbours. You know, we were all doing the NHS clap, and all our neighbours were stood outside their doors, like looking at each other, smiling, saying good evening, clapping for the NHS. I really felt like it was a community connection. And also, as soon as businesses opened, we were all like trying to go to the local coffee shop, buy coffee, buy chocolate, support the business. Even when they weren't open, I was ordering takeaways quite regularly from local restaurants just to try and keep supporting them. And I feel like that's something I definitely want to take forward into the future, trying to keep ordering from local businesses and supporting local restaurants, just because I feel like that is so important. I've really enjoyed doing that over the course of the last few months. And the last thing that I want to take forward is I would love to not go back to the pace of life that I had before. The pace of life that I had before lockdown is unsustainable. It was crazy. It was really crazy, and I don't think I realised how crazy it was until I was forced to slow down. And now I'm like, how did I do that? How did I do that? So I'd definitely like to retain some elements of the slower pace of life, even if that's just having weekends off every so often, or having more evenings off during the week and watching Netflix with Ant. I would love to be able to do that into the future, so I'm really, really hoping that I don't get too carried away once work picks up, and I'm hoping that I do manage to maintain some elements of the slower pace of life, although I know myself and I know I might throw myself back into everything, but hopefully I have the self-control to rein myself back in and try and slow down a little bit. I think moving to Surrey will help me do that. Overall, I know that so many people just say 2020 is cancelled, 2020 doesn't count, 2020 is just an awful year, blah blah blah, and you know what? It's not been the best year. It's not been the best year, but I do not think that it deserves to be cancelled. I think that every single second of our life counts. Every single minute counts, and we can't just dismiss a whole year because we've had a few really bad things happen, okay? I encourage you to join me in finding the positives in every single day, trying to find moments of joy even through the challenges that 2020 has brought you. Lockdown has been a learning curve. I've learned so much about myself, I've learned so much about those around me, I've learned so much about humanity and how we handle crises, and it's been eye-opening, and overall I'm grateful for this experience. Nothing else in the world could have forced me to slow down as much as this, and I am grateful that I was forced to do that because it taught me a lot. It definitely taught me a lot. So let me know a little bit about your lockdown experiences in the comments. I hope you guys enjoyed hearing this. Again, another disclaimer, I just want to let you know that I had a very privileged experience. I'm really scared that I'm going to get negativity and backlash for being so positive about lockdown, when I know that so many people have had awful experiences, and I just want to say that my heart goes out to you, but hopefully you understand that I'm just sharing my personal experiences of the whole global pandemic situation. So yeah, leave your experiences in the comments down below. I would love to hear from you. Give this video a cheeky thumbs up, make sure you subscribe, and have an amazing day, guys. I love you loads.